Okay, this is the key if you want to write anything down about post-spawn. When I go to a body of water, is it really post-spawn? And this is just what works for me. If the shad have spawned, I consider the whole bass pattern, way I'm going to approach my fishing, post-spawn. Well, you say, well, if the shad has spawned, it's post-spawn. That's a no-brainer, right? Well, some other fish may have, but I think the key to bass really moving out is that when the shad spawn, and they tend to move out to deeper. How many of you even know what it's, when you've seen a shad spawn on a body of water? When the majority of those shad are up in the bushes or around the cypress trees or whatever cover you might have in the grass, spawning. When that happens, and if you're on a body of water pretty regular, you'll see when that happens. When that happens, then I think a lot of those bass that stay shallow up until those shad spawn, and then once those shad spawn, they tend to move out deeper and the fish migrate out after them. Okay? Everybody with me there? Any question about the shad spawn? Only got a few hands. People said that they had seen it or really know what it looks like, but try to be aware on the body of water if the shad have actually spawned yet. Good. Okay, the cool thing, look at that was in Orange, Texas, actually, I think. And a couple buddies of mine right there, I don't know who this guy is, but y'all might know that guy. But the great thing about cranking, post-spawn cranking, anytime you want to crank, is it's time efficient, versatile, and effective in mimicking different bass foods, which this is a bass food here for sure. But the time efficient is probably the most important thing to me. You know, I mentioned earlier that I've probably won more money with a flipping stick in my hand, pitching a jig or some type of soft plastic. But most of the time when I find the tournament winning fish, I do it with a crankbait or a moving bait in my hand covering water. Okay? So when you locate the fish, and then you can use other baits and really dissect an area once you locate some fish. Because the most important thing in catching fish is what? Being around some fish. That sounds like a no-brainer, but that is the most important thing. A lot of people think it's a $70,000 boat. A lot of people think it's a $400 reel. A lot of people think, oh, maybe coming to one of these seminars and listen to this guy get up here and talk. But in the end, the most important thing is to be around fish. And I have, unfortunately, and a lot of other fishermen have spent a lot of hours on the water and never even was around fish. Okay? But that is the most important thing. And being around fish takes some time to find those fish, locate those fish. And the one thing I talked about, the different audience we have, some experienced tournament fishermen, some weekend club fishermen, some people just starting, some high school and college fishermen, all those different things. Been fishing 22 years on a Bassmaster tour full time, but the one common denominator that we all have is time on the water is limited. Even with me, I make my living fishing, but when I travel around doing seminars, when I have to go work boat shows for my sponsors, when I do all these things, I have two sons that I like spending time with. We all have a limited amount of time on the water. For most fishermen, it's because they've got a Monday through Friday job, or they've got a job and they've got commitment, and they only get, let's say, Saturday to go fishing twice a month. I mean, that's harsh reality. If I go to a tournament in another state, we have 3 days of official practice, which really turns into 2.5 with registration, all that sort of thing. So I go on a body of water, let's say it's Toledo Bend, Rayburn, river system, like the Sabine, anywhere. 2.5 days is not a lot of time. So what you want to do is be very time efficient. And being time efficient with a lure is covering water and moving until you locate some fish. It's really, really important. How many of you have gone fishing and you start off where you caught them last time, or where a buddy told you he caught them last time he went, and halfway through the day you realize they're not here anymore? And unfortunately, you only have 2 Saturdays a month to go, and you just burned 4 hours of the one Saturday that you've got. Okay?
And the information Bass University provides isn't your basic run-of-the-mill fishing video. This is specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly.